We move on to the weekend that lies ahead of us, the Miami Dolphins hosting the Atlanta Falcons. And it was on Wednesday that John McClain of the Houston Chronicle reported that the Texans could trade Deshaun Watson to the Dolphins by the weekend. And it was on September 1 that Brian Flores, amid rampant rumors and reports that a trade would be happening, declared to the world that Tua Tagovailoa is our quarterback. Flores at it again today, addressing the reports that Watson could be coming to town. Here he is.
I don't really get into rumors. Tua's our quarterback. We're happy with our quarterback situation, and I'll leave it at that. Which I've said multiple times. I think his preparation, the way he practices, and the way he performs, has been good. I thought he played very well last week. I think his psyche's in a good place. He's a confident kid. He's a tough kid. And really, he's played in 2 games this year. So he should have a lot of confidence in the way he's played. We have a lot of confidence in him because of the way he's played. And we just, our focus is on, Atlanta and trying to, for him to play, to play well again.
Again, it's one thing to see the words on paper. It's another thing to witness the delivery. I don't sense a lot of conviction. I don't sense any passion. I don't sense any zeal. This is a guy who is making chicken salad while they await for the filet mignon to show up. That's what this is. And whether it shows up or not, we got 11 days, and we'll know. But Tua is our quarterback, is a far cry from Tua will be our quarterback. Deshaun Watson is not coming here. We are not trading for him. This is all fake news. This is all BS. And you can either get on the train with me with Tua Tagovailoa, or you can get off and stay off. That's the kind of passion you need to make people believe that this is something other than saying what he has to say. No different than what one of his predecessors in that job once said. Nick Saban reference number 2, I'm not going to be the Alabama coach.
Well, right. But, frankly, I feel like I learned a long time ago, it doesn't necessarily matter what coaches say at press conferences, right? They're either going to do what they're going to do, or they're not going to do what they're not going to do. It was a few days before, now I'm kind of hitting the way back button here, the Rams traded Sam Bradford for Nick Foles. And Les Snead, or maybe it wasn't a few days, maybe it was a month, whenever it was. But Les Snead said deleting Sam Bradford is not the answer. And then what do they go ahead and do? They delete Sam Bradford from the roster, and then they bring in Nick Foles, and it turned out Nick Foles wasn't the answer either. But I just feel like no matter what he says, it kind of doesn't matter. But I do agree with you that I'm not really sensing the conviction here from Brian Flores. And it may just be the way he speaks, that's the intonation he uses in press conferences. Maybe he kind of picked that up from Bill Belichick, whatever. But man, that's not, it didn't seem like a very big ringing endorsement to me for Tua Tagovailoa.
And here's the other side of it too. If you're flatline like that all the time, okay, you're never going to seem like you've got a strong amount of conviction. But if on one occasion you do, that makes it more glaring on those occasions when you do have to stand up there and you find yourself in a must-lie situation. I'll go back a couple years before the Bradford Foles trade. Rick Spielman, we have no intent to trade Percy Harvin. And within a matter of days, if not hours, they traded Percy Harvin. Look, coaches and GMs find themselves from time to time in situations where they must say something other than the truth. The last thing that Brian Flores was going to do today was stand up there and say, okay, here's what's going on, guys. We know and you know that Tua really isn't going to be a franchise quarterback. We want to try to get Deshaun Watson. We just can't get the Texans to relent on what they're looking for. If we can get them to relent, then we'll do the trade. Otherwise, we'll stick with Tua because we really don't have much of a choice. Now let's go try to beat the Falcons. He's not going to say that. He's not going to say it. He can't say it. And we accept that. We accept that, right? There are points where you just have to tell something other than the absolute truth because the truth causes you far more problems than people looking at you saying, I don't think you're telling the truth. So Tua is our quarterback until Deshaun Watson arrives. And here's the other reality, too. Even if they trade for him, there's a chance the NFL is going to say, you're on paid leave for the rest of the year while these other issues, these off-field problems get worked out. So they may be stuck with Tua anyway. You know, there's a belief out there that Tua's going out the door as Deshaun Watson arrives if it happens. I think that it's possible that they have both guys, at least for the rest of the year.
Oh, it could be, yeah. But the other thing, too, is that even if even if these rumors don't go away, and they're not going to go away until after the trading deadline, I mean, I don't feel like Tua is going to be in a position to silence the rumors. I think that what we know about Tua in the league at this point is that he's a bit of a limited quarterback who can excel in a limited game plan. And it almost kind of reminds me of what the Browns asked Case Keenum to do last night. You don't want to have him do too much because that's going to expose the QB, right? And I feel like that's the way they played against Jacksonville last week in London, where you weren't asking him to do too much because he's not really capable of doing it. And so there's all this stuff that is sort of surrounding Tua. And, if he goes out there and performs against Atlanta, throws for 350, 3 or 4 touchdowns, then maybe that will back some of this stuff off a little bit. But, Mike, I don't see that happening. Do you?
No. And I said this back in late August, early September. The one way that Tua can shut everybody up is to go out there and kick ass, win games, do what Tom Brady would do. Prove to everyone, I'm better than Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
You want Deshaun Watson? Fine. I'm better than him. And he hasn't done that. I mean, you could start by not losing to a team that has lost 20 games in a row. That would be a good place to start if you want to convince the people in Miami that you're the guy. And frankly, I think the Tua Mafia has backed off a little bit after that loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we'll see how that all plays out.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.